this is the moment I found my voice. I think of my music, all my music as being theatre. There is an inherent theatre in all performance. And I love the idea of an experience. I love the idea of something that you are immersed in as an audience member. A moment that really I feel was maybe a watershed moment for me was when I wrote "Oh Death." There was something about that piece that I think I'd been working up towards for quite a few years. It's not a typical sort of piece, like a piece that's just a bit of a concert. It is a whole evening. I just want something to feel like one thing, like one big whole. That there's an experience that you go in that didn't exist at 8 o'clock, and at 9 something, you are completely changed by, hopefully, or you're provoked by, or something that wouldn't be the case if the piece was shorter. And I think that scale does that, and the drama, the theatre of that, the narrative of that. So that's why those pieces are. That's why that form is important to me. I once described it to a friend of mine as like, I want to be a novelist rather than a short story writer. And I think that's for me is like those big pieces are more like novels. I think the idea for "Oh Death" came from a couple of places. I think the first thing was the idea of the Requiem Mass sequence, but also blues music, and it's fascinating, blues. There was a lot of things that I just thought were kind of interesting in that area. So that's sort of where maybe my background thinking to the piece, and then lyrics are sort of pleading with the character of death, right? So it's sort of a little bit like the kind of, have mercy on me kind of thing. And then, if you look at some of those words, well, they're not exactly blues. It goes back to bluegrass, which goes back into, folk music, and so there were texts that, you can find a text from the 17th century in the UK that's sort of the same text as sort of Appalachian things that are much, much newer. And there's this whole mix of cultures and musical influences. So it's a big piece. It's like a 70-minute piece that I wrote for Ensemble Klang, and we had a back and forth, and I was able to try things out with them and really build this piece. I think the whole piece took me about 18 months to write, so it was a huge project. That piece was the first piece where I really felt that everything I wanted to achieve, I felt I delivered. That's what the piece was. And so I think that was the moment for me. It felt solid, And "Oh Death" was the first piece that did that, and I've done that subsequently. "Presence of Absence" is another piece for Ensemble Klang that does that. "The Light of Lesser Days," the opera, is also that, and there are going to be others. So yeah, it's that's something that I know. Yeah, like I say, the "Oh Death" was the first piece that did that, and so I think I could say that was the moment for me, that piece.